So, having gone through the basics of fundamentals and incorporating fundamentals into your trading, the last part we come to is actually creating your own fundamental profile for an economy. So, this is where we're going to set you a task to follow this sheet I've got on the screen here. I can send you this separately, or you can just screenshot this yourself and fill this in. It doesn't matter how we do it. But what we want you guys to do now is, so for each economy that you trade, so for example, if you trade the currency per euro dollar, you'd fill one of this in for the euro, and then you'd for the eurozone, sorry. So from the point of perspective of the ECB, and then you'd fill in one of these for the dollar as well. So from the point of perspective of the Fed, and you basically do one of these profiles to understand the intricacies of each of the economy that you trade, and you're able to understand what news outlets or what potential threats these economies have going forward, so that when the news hits, you're aware of the whatever the news is can actually affect the market. So just having a quick run through this. So for example, if I was to fill in one of these for the pound, so what drives your market currently? At the moment, the inflation is quite high in the UK. So any inflation fears or any news relating to inflation are the main drivers of the market, as you can see how they are affecting the markets. So any high inflation is definitely bad for the pound. So when this news hits, or there's speculation in the news, or a speaker comes out and says that we are approaching a time of high inflation, we are likely to see the pound devalue once that news has hit. So you need to be aware of these things going forward. And when you do see, whether you have a news source, whether you see on Twitter someone that this news has came out from a speaker, you need to be aware what can actually happen and how that can impact your position in the market, whether it might help you because you are short selling the pound, or whether it will go against you and you need to get out, otherwise you're going to hit your stop. And then also, what is influencing your market now? So that's more geopolitical factors, such as obviously the corona has been a massive impact in the markets last year. This year it's more the vaccine. Any slowness, any slow progress in the vaccinations in the country are definitely influencing the markets. When there are fears that there's not going to be some inflation targets hits like there was in March and April, then the market is likely to step not. The market is like, for the pound, the market is like to slow down, maybe devalue over a couple of days, but then return to its normal track. So you need to be of what's influencing the markets. And then the end of lockdown restrictions are, well, all restrictions essentially are definitely influencing the market right now for the pound as well. So that's something to be aware of. I'm not going to mention all things that have impact the markets. I just want to give you guys examples so that you actually go and research these yourselves. So what should this economic profile include? The current conditions in the economy, if there are any ongoing issues in the economy which could influence the market. So as I mentioned before, coronavirus vaccine, any specific to the economy itself, any news or any possible. So for example, there's a new Nissan factory that has been opened in the south of England somewhere, if I'm correct, which will bring a lot of investors into the country. So I'll definitely be looking forward to when these plans are actually in place fully. So when they decide on the plant, like the plant has to be built, it will create loads of new jobs, as well as it'll create demand for the pound from these foreign investors actually investing into the plant, as it's going to be a massive. I believe it's in the Nissan plant, so it'll bring loads of demand for the pound. So that's going to be definitely something to look forward to. Moving on, obviously interest rates, you can find these in the economic calendar, current inflation, economic calendar as well, current unemployment. You can find all of these in the economic calendar. It's important to look at patterns as well. So what are the chances that employment will continue to decrease or increase in the long run? Look at previous unemployment figures over the last 3 years. How have they been doing? How the economy is moving in the long run in general. So what is the top traded equity in the country? For the UK, it's the FTSE 100. look at the weightings of the company. So the FTSE 100 measures the top 100 companies in the UK by market cap. Look which company has the biggest weighting of those 100, because any news hitting that company, any negative, positive news, is likely to actually impact the whole FTSE. So at one point last year, AstraZeneca was the biggest company on the FTSE 100 because of the vaccine. So as they started to develop the vaccine, the market cap rose quite, I can't remember the exact, quite massively. At one point, it was around, AstraZeneca itself was around 9% of the whole market cap of the FTSE. So any news that hit AstraZeneca was likely to hit the FTSE 100. And then the FTSE 100 moves in line with the dollar in general. So it's not all the time, but over a long period of time, they usually move in tandem. So positive news for the FTSE, any good figures for the FTSE, as I just mentioned, is likely to move the FTSE 100, and then likely to move the pound as well. So you need to know what top trade equity is, as well as its correlation with the pound or whatever currency you're looking at. So the market sentiment. So how does the pair move when there are strong money flows to the dollar index during the day? Well, look at the correlation between the pound and the dollar index. So when the pound rises, does the dollar index go down? I go up, and vice versa, because these are important when there is strong money flows into the dollar. You need to be aware how that will impact your given currency. What does the currency do when it reaches its ATR? So there's an ATR indicator, which we talked about earlier in the technical analysis. Yeah, in the technical analysis, we talked about the ATR indicator. So you need to be aware of every day when price reaches ATR, how does it, like every day when your pair, so in my case, the pound dollar reaches its ATR, what does it do on the day? Does it continue moving forward? So if I'm longing pound dollar on the day and I've reached the top of the ATR for the day, how does my pair behave? Does it continue going up? Does it reject the ATR? Does it come down? Does it go up, come down to the ATR and keep going up? You need to know these. You need to know how. You need to know how the market is impacted when it reaches ATR, because a lot of people exiting the market at those certain points. So it's important to know this for your own pair, so you're not holding positions looking for this ATR to be hit when you know over a given period of time ATR's never hit on a Monday and stuff like this. So very specific things. When is the currency most volatile? So whether it's in the London session, whether it's Asian session, New York session, it's most likely going to be between London and New York session. Obviously, the pound from around 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. key London session now was in about 1 p.m. Sorry, to about 4 p.m. So the market trends, so long, mid, and short term. So going into the past, what have been the key support and resistance areas? So after the Brexit news, what price points were key support areas? What price was the key resistance areas? Same going back. So I know now for the last 3 or 4 months, even longer, the key support and resistance area for the pound dollar was the 140s level, which has seen significant rejections from either side. So it's a very, very, very key point in the market for where prices are likely to go. And you need to find these areas find this price point, for your own currencies. Key market data. So what we talked about in the first part, for me, would be the Bank of England, interest rate decisions, inflation figures, unemployment figures, GDP, and then how there are trends. So if there have been trends in the market, if you can see this clear trend, so there's unemployment figures are continuing to decrease. It's a given possibility for future price expectations, because the pound is likely to rise if unemployment keeps decreasing. And then, are there any significant trading opportunities now? So to give any significant opportunities for the given pair. So maybe the pair always has false breakouts, or it has strong rallies on the Monday, which you can exploit. So we've actually noticed the pound over the last 6 or 7 months, every Monday it tends to have a very strong rally. And then we've used that information to actually develop a specific trading strategy just used on Mondays for the pound, where we can actually take advantage of these moves. So this is something you can actually find out yourself. So maybe your pair likes to rally on a Wednesday, and it reaches the high of the week will be on a Wednesday. From Wednesday onwards, the pair will just trade downwards, or maybe the reverse happens. Just stuff like this you can actually take advantage of and implement into your trading. And then finally, any correlated markets for the currency. So the pound, I know the pound dollar is closely linked to the euro dollar, and the pairs tend to move in tandem. So maybe there's some divergence between the two pairs, where euro dollar makes a high, yet pound dollar hasn't made that high yet, and it's looking for more liquidity first to go to the downside, and then pop up and take the same high, but obviously on pound dollar. So it's just things like that you need to be aware of. But yeah, I hope you guys have fun covering all of them. If you do have any problems, or if you want to have a look at what you found for one economy before going on to the next one, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you.